Hello guys and ghouls. I heard on the fairy find that you want to be more whimsical. I decided to wear the hat of fairy godmother today to share with you my knowledge in that arena. I'm not an expert when it comes to being whimsical at all. I'm going to give you some advice and wisdom on how to be your most whimsical, wondrous, creative, imaginative self. To be honest, I don't have any credentials in being whimsical. I've done some research and I've looked into my own life, compiled a big old list of things that I think could help you. I want to say that being whimsical isn't an aesthetic, it's not a fashion statement or a materialist thing. Whimsical is a mindset. It's a state of mind. It's about embracing imagination and wonder. It's what happens when you stop treating the world like it's ordinary and start living your life like it's art, because it is. So this isn't going to be a tutorial on how to look whimsical. It's more how to be whimsical, how to feel it. I know a lot of you are interested in that sort of whimsical style, so I would be more than happy to do another video on how to conjure a more whimsical vibe and style and aesthetic. But first, whimsy comes from the inside. Let's begin. So first and foremost, the most important part is your mindset. Exercise your wonder and pay attention with awe. Let ordinary things feel special. Anything and everything can be special. Noticing is everything. Noticing the way dust falls, the sound of rain, the smell of the air, the things that are on the ground. When you train your brain to notice the little joys, you start to notice that life is full of amazing wonders and magic. You know, you've been walking past and scrolling past it the whole time. Start wandering your mind into what if territory. What if that bug has a wife? What if my shadow has an opinion? What if that bird has an accent? Question the ordinary like a poet or a curious child. It will start to open your mind and invite creativity in. Playfulness over perfection, and don't be embarrassed by joy. Life is serious because you make it serious, and life is fun because you make it fun. You know, wave at the moon, give your stuffed animals names and personalities. You know, treat going in the car like a fun fair ride. Radical sincerity. Love what you love and be unashamedly sincere about that. It doesn't matter if it's weird. In fact, that makes it better. Like me, I have weird hobbies and interests. Like, I watch train videos, I like to track hurricanes, I like watching videos of people building old computers. I like that stuff because I like it, not because I think it fits an aesthetic. It doesn't matter if it doesn't fit the mold. Be sincere about everything you do. Slow your brain down. Slowness gives you time to notice, to play, to appreciate the tiny things. Believe in magic. You don't have to believe in fairies or unicorns, but believe in joy and hope and optimism. Believe that good things still happen quietly. And when you notice all the small things, open yourself up to creativity. Love the things you love with sincerity. Light and joy and whimsy will start to radiate from you. So from the top of my head, that is the whimsical mindset. So next is to create. Creating is one of the most important things you can do in this world. We are consuming so much. We constantly consume everything. It's not your fault. You know, everything's being pushed down your throat. Everything is begging for your attention. Everything is asking, consume me, buy me, watch me, pay attention to me, give me your time, give me your energy. Creation is so important. It is the physical manifestation of you. And creation of whimsy doesn't have to be productive. You don't have to monetize it. You don't have to post it. Just make it because it's funny or pretty or weird, and because it's an extension of you. If you're wondering, you know, what do I make? Literally anything. Just create something. If you draw a square, that's creating something. If you feel like a square represents you, I support you in that, and that is wonderful and beautiful. I think experimenting with these things helps you find yourself. Off the top of my head, you can paint, you can colour, you can draw, you can crochet, you can knit, you can use clay, you can do woodwork, you can make a zine, you can do sewing, you can make brooches, you can make an outfit, you can make a candle. I did a video on my creative projects, which might help you, give you some ideas on, you know, some of the things you might want to make. It's different things and different mediums and different ideas, and it might inspire you to make something. So I'll link that in the description. Okay. So similar to creating, hobbies expand your brain. They open you up to something so much bigger than yourself. You're not consuming, you're doing, you're inspiring, and you don't even have to be a tiny bit good at what you're doing. Whimsy thrives on curiosity, not mastery. Things like reading, baking, ceramics, knitting, sewing, writing, painting, yoga, collecting things, photography, gardening, anything, doing stuff and finding almost like a purpose in things. The act of doing, the act of serving, the act of creating has so much impact on your brain, and your dopamine levels slows down your brain from the constant noise that is everywhere all the time. That brings us to number 4, which is writing. Writing is one of the greatest gifts in this world. It slows you down to reflect, create, imagine, remember different ways you can write and different reasons you can write. I think one of the number one ways is journaling. Journaling is like a portal to your soul. You can find yourself, you can create yourself, you can remember yourself, you can explore ideas, reflect on yourself, realize and detect patterns. You know, it's like sitting down and having a cup of tea with yourself. Something else you can do is creative writing. Again, it's like creation. It just is an extension of you. Creativity does so much for you and your soul and your brain. I think a massive part of being whimsical is creating and just sharing your ideas and your amazing creative self with the world. And I've said this before, being creative, it isn't something some people are born with. It's not a talent. It's not, you know, something that is just limited to certain people. It's a physical part of the brain. Everyone has the ability, the physical ability to be creative. Creativity doesn't just have to be colours and art, you know, it can be, but it doesn't have to be if that's not who you really are. You know, creativity can be anything as long as it's just an expression of you. It's creativity. And I think that writing is a wonderful way to really find that part of yourself. And creativity is whimsy because it's wonder, it's curiosity. That's what whimsical is. It's imagination. So all these things are intertwined, and I just really think that creation, writing, hobbies, they're all such an important, beautiful part of this whole construct. Number 5 is language. Half the fun of being whimsical is saying stuff like, I'm going on an adventure to the post office, instead of saying, I'm gonna go run some errands. Words hold a lot of power, and it's the manifestation of you. Again, it's the manifestation of your thoughts. Speak like your life matters. Speak like your life is fun. Playful language changes your brain. It changes the way your brain experiences reality. It reframes the mundane into fun and creative and magical. So next is your habits and your routine. Your lifestyle, your environment, your daily habits and routines really reflect who you are, and in turn, who you are reflects your habits, routines and environment. And also they affect who you are. Doing things like drinking from your favorite mug, lighting a candle when you're writing, listening to film soundtracks when you're cleaning. Do things that are insufficient on purpose sometimes. Maybe go for a walk instead of scroll. Write your shopping list with fun doodles instead of, just quickly typing it on your phone. It slows your brain down enough to notice things. Noticing is literally where wonder comes from. Next is fashion. I will talk a little on fashion and style. I won't tell you what to wear and what dress is whimsical and what isn't. I have to dress like a fairy. Just stop dressing like you're afraid to be seen. Wear things that make you smile. Maybe ask if my outfit could talk. What would it say about me? Although consuming lots of bad stuff in your brain obviously has so many downsides to it, and creating is the ultimate form of moving through that, I think that consuming relics of whimsy is good for you because it's inspiring. I feel like that's the main thing of getting inspired, is these things, these other artists. Consuming people's art inspires me to a degree. So I've written down some books and movies and music that I think you should definitely check out if you want to be inspired and really just get that whimsical vibe. So I've got quite a few here, so I'm just gonna speed run through these. So these are movies: Juno, Amelie, Eagle vs Shark, Fantastic Mr. Fox, The Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, Alice in Wonderland, Coraline, Howl's Moving Castle, The Secret Life of Walter Mitty, Moonrise Kingdom, The Secret Garden, The Royal Tenenbaums, My Neighbor Totoro, Scott Pilgrim, Big Fish, Isle of Dogs, Paddington, Bridge to Terabithia, Napoleon Dynamite, Little Women, Submarine, Nacho Libre, Dinner in America, Florida Project, I Believe in Unicorns, Uptown Girls, and The Dead Poets Society. To me, all these films have such a special place in my heart because they just invoke so much inspiration and just ooze whimsy in different ways. Some more, in a magical, fun way, some more in a very intimate, personal way. Now, music. There are so many songs in this world that just lighten me up, and when I listen to them, they just spark it all. I've got a Spotify playlist that has a lot of those songs. I will link it in the description. But some of my favourite artists that just constantly just put out the best whimsical music: Mazzy Star, Florist, Adrian Lenker, Kimmy Dawson, Alex G, Enya, and Youth Lagoon. Probably way more than that. There definitely are, but those ones have that sort of whimsical vibe. And finally, books: Alice in Wonderland, Braiding Sweetgrass, which I'm reading at the moment, The Lady of Shalott, which is my all-time favourite poem, the Narnia series, Pride and Prejudice, The Secret Garden, Anne of Green Gables, The Ocean at the End of the Lane, The Museum of Innocence, and The Little Prince. Lastly, being whimsical doesn't mean pretending to be a fairy in a dreamland. It's just remembering that life isn't all logistics, it's art. So if you want to be whimsical, don't force it, just be curious, and the rest will follow.